Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today, you will notice that we are back in our redstone ready testing world. We're not doing anything redstone oriented today. We will be visiting that at some point in the future. But you will notice that this is the same world that we did our 10 facts about dirt in Minecraft in. And if you didn't catch that, I feel like it's worth your time, so I will leave the link to that in the description down below. So be sure to check that out if you missed that one. Today, what we will be doing, as you can see the limited area back around me, is we will be going over 5 things that I have learned while playing hardcore Minecraft. Now, if you're not familiar, which I'm sure you probably are, hardcore Minecraft is a difficulty that you can only play in the Java edition of the game, and it is an instance where permadeath is the name of the game. If you die at any point, well, that's where your game file ends. And today we'll be going over 5 different lessons I've learned while playing through that I feel that you will benefit from by knowing and implementing into your game style. So let's jump into that, shall we? The first and foremost lesson that I've learned is that not only do you need to find a good source of food right off the bat, but you need to track down a minimum of 3 sheep as quickly as you can. With or without shears. If you can find 3 sheep, you can likely get the 3 wool that you need for making a bed. If you approach with shears, you probably don't need that many. You may even be able to get it with just 1. But that is the first lesson that I've learned that is very important, because in hardcore Minecraft, you don't really want to be sleeping through the night where you can at all avoid it. I did do a version of hardcore Minecraft that I will revisit at some point, which was Minecraft Insomnia, where the name of the game was trying not to sleep, or not allowing myself to sleep at all was the name of the challenge, which I made a couple of rookie mistakes in that, which is still available on the channel if you want to go back around and view that one as well. But if you're not putting yourself some sort of self-imposed rule like that, getting yourself a sheep and a bed as quickly as you can is going to be imperative to any sort of success in that type of a game mode. The second thing that we've learned, or the second lesson, is actually over here, and it's probably something that you would have figured out. This is my representation of a strip mine based off of my common practice for it. Now, in case you're not aware, you do have mines that you will want to be doing, but you will also need to make sure that they are lit up, and that was what the downfall of my most recent version of the long haul, which was not as long lived as I would have expected it to. That was where we ran into a roadblock there. I got a little too comfortable using just handheld torches because I am running Optifine, and it's really nice because it allows you to have some dynamic lighting when any light source is held in hand. But that doesn't prevent mob spawns, so you will want to make sure that you are lighting up your strip mines efficiently and consistently. And the best way by far to do that is placing torches with 5 blocks in between, because that will make sure that you don't have any areas of your mine, or at least the mine shafts that you are building, underneath a light level of 7, which is where mobs can begin to spawn. So you'll see here that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is where we would want to have our next one. So just kind of keeping that in mind as you go through building your areas of the mine. Because my most recent world, I got snuck up on by a creeper, which blasted me down to the last little sliver of health. And then because there were a bunch of other mobs, mainly skeletons, in the nearby area, it was a very, very short turnaround from that mishap to the next. So that is an imperative lesson that you need to be aware of as well. Lesson number 3 is making sure that you can get the resources for an enchanting table as quickly as possible. Of course, as a general rule, you always want to have a chest filled with whatever lapis you've gathered from your mining excursions, ideally from the phase 2. You want to keep an anvil on hand near your enchanting table as well, because as you get better enchants for your gear, it's going to be a good idea to combine those together to make sure that you are doing so efficiently. You could also include a grindstone over here for any enchants that you may need to burn to get some better ones, or if there is a piece of gear that you are wanting to recycle and get some better enchants for, that would be a good place to have that as well, especially if the enchanting table isn't giving you anything really beneficial. Alternatively, you can rig up one of those deals where you have a floor that pops up around the enchanting table to kind of restrict the access that it has to these bookshelves, which can give you third level enchants at a lower level requirement. Of course, it's then going to restrict the efficiency of that enchant that you receive, but overall it can be a little beneficial, or quite beneficial in some circumstances, in terms of allowing you to get what you're looking for. And this is specifically to all types of gear, as there are lots of different enchants that you're going to want to be going for, and getting one of these set up as quickly as possible is the third lesson that I've found is of the utmost importance when it comes to running a hardcore world. Lesson number 4 is actually making sure that you have different sets of armor for every different type of job, because there are some enchantments that you can get with your armor that are not compatible with each other, and that mainly has to do with these two sets here. Of course, we have our nether set, or our fire protection set, which you'll want to include something gold related, especially when you're playing in the 1.16 version of the game or higher, because you really don't want piglins sneaking up on you. So ideally you want a good set of armor that has fire protection 4 on all of the pieces. Ideally you'll also want to have mending and unbreaking 3 on this as well, but that is the bare minimum requirement before even thinking about going to the nether if you want to stick around for any length of time, especially in the context of a hardcore world. The second set of armor that I highly recommend having is actually what I call your mining insurance, and this is largely due to my most recent run-in, especially where creepers are especially devastating within the hardcore version of the game. You'll want to make sure that you have blast protection 4 on all pieces of your armor, and then once you get this upgraded to netherite, that will only improve the overall efficiency of your blast protection. I also find it a little beneficial to have thorns, or some degree of thorns, on the different pieces of armor as well, because when a zombie walks up to you and hits you, that is just a further deterrent from you taking the full brunt of the blow, as well as, you know, making sure that you've got that extra bit of insurance. And this could very well double as that third set of armor that I have listed over here, that being the overworld set. I do have them listed separately because I do feel that they're important for different reasons. Now, this third set that I have listed here is not a full set, but it's mainly highlighting the portions of the armor that you are going to want to have the highest efficiency on, which is making sure that you have some degree of respiration 3, where you can get it. Also aqua affinity, to make sure that you can spend longer amounts of time underwater wherein if you need to, as well as not be impeded by the mining that you will inevitably be doing while there, and then making sure that you have some depth strider 3, where you can get it on your boots to further increase your underwater traversal. And those are going to be very beneficial, though you should, or you may be able to combine those with your mining insurance if you're really needing to. Now, there is an argument to be made for having some degree of fire protection on you while you are doing your mining sessions, because there's always going to be those lava pockets. I've specifically outlined this because the nether is a more common area where you're going to want to have that fire resistance handy, and blast protection and fire protection are incompatible enchantments. You cannot have both of these enchantments on a single set of armor, and for that matter you actually can't have projectile protection with either of these sets as well. So if you want to have a third set of armor for specifically hunting skeletons or drowned that rely on having projectile based attacks, make sure that you are not seeking to double pair that into the pieces of your armor sets. And lesson number 5 actually has to do with the villagers that you're going to want to have. Now, there's a lot of different villager trades that you can get, and I am here to highlight the 3 that I feel personally are the most beneficial to have on hand. And we'll start here at the back. Of course, you're going to want to have your librarians, ideally a librarian that can trade you mending books. Neither one of these librarians here have mending, but I didn't want to cycle through them in order for the sake of making a point. But you will want to make sure that you have easy access to mending books, and ideally with your second librarian, you're going to want to see if you can get your hands on that Unbreaking 3 enchantment, just in case you're not so lucky in getting that off of an enchanting table. Though with enough patience, you can get that Unbreaking 3 enchantment off of your enchanting table. The other benefit that you can have from your librarians is they do have the option to sell you glass for emeralds, which is handy for one of the other villager types that we'll talk about in just a minute. Now, the second type of villager that I feel is imperative to have around, mainly because of the large amounts of mining that you're going to be doing, is your stonecutters. And that is because they will buy off a lot of the bricks that you may not be using with relative or any consistency at all. I mean, you can sell them clay to get started, and then they generally get to a point where they will buy stone off you, and then different variations of the stones that you will be bringing out of your mine. That being diorite, andesite, granite, they will buy those off of you as well, and eventually get to the point where they will actually sell you blocks of quartz and terracotta as well, which are really nice for doing some more of your technical builds at a later point in time. Especially once you get to the point where you can cure these guys up, they will be doing, or infect them with a zombie and then later cure them up. They will be doing quite well in terms of providing you the resources that you need, and also allowing a steady inward flow of emeralds for your stock exchange. And the last villager that I recommend having is actually the cartographer, for a couple of different reasons. They do sell a couple of maps, such as the oceanography and the forest dweller maps, so you can look for those structures to gain some further access to blocks. But these guys will buy glass panes off of you in exchange for emeralds, and if you happen to get some librarians that will sell you glass, then you can turn around and convert those glass blocks into glass panes and sell them back for a profit from your cartographers. And the same type of thing goes from here. Once you are comfortable or at a comfortable point where you can infect your villagers and then later cure them up, that will just overall increase the efficiency in which you can do it. Your cartographers can also sell you banner patterns if you're into using those types of things as well. But those are the 5 things that I have learned while taking on some of my hardcore adventures. It's been a little bit of a stressful endeavor, but I enjoy it, even though I do rage about it a little bit when things don't quite go my way. So I hope that that is something that you can empathize with, and let me know what your experience with hardcore Minecraft has been down in the comments below. Or if you don't have access to it because you play on the Bedrock version of the game, let me know things that you would look to do if you were to have the option to play in hardcore Minecraft, should that, who knows, eventually be added to the Bedrock version of the game at some point in time. But thanks again for watching. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed or found it helpful, and be sure to subscribe for more daily content. And until then, we will see you in the next episode. Thanks again for watching, and take care. Bye-bye.